Super Earth Mama into his out. Whoa, what is that? That's inappropriate. Butters, go see Daddy. It's time to go outside. It's time to go outside. They're going outside so I can talk to you guys. Not that I always send my family away, but we're going to be talking about some heavy stuff. Some heavy shiz, if you will. So, I made it through the deep end. Yay! We all made it! When I first started watching The Deep End, the Teal Swan story, that's what I want to call it. Even though it's not really her story, it's an observation of Teal Swan. And apparently it was filmed over 3 years. It's very easy to make people believe something existed when it didn't, which is the argument that most people have presented to me. Here's the problem there. If you take completely out of context some of the things that Teal says.
It would be the same if I went to the Dalai Lama today and I said, okay, but like you are in this place of like all-knowingness, but who's all-knowing for you? The reality for you is you think there's an actual fucking consequence for somebody not having a mentor.
Some of her teachings.
It's my intention that you feel better, right? I want you to feel better. I want you to walk out this door feeling better. But the reality is that most adults today, yourself included, are living an inauthentic life.
Some of just the way she looks sometimes, you know.
Why the fuck do you think the universe would put you in front of me if everything's fine?
I mean, I don't know, Teal.
No, I mean, really answer the question.
I don't want to paint this woman as a villain. I don't think she's a villain. I think she's a victim of the mental health industry. That's really what I think. I've done a lot of research, and that's why it's taking me so long to finally do this video, because I had so many people respond to the first 3 videos saying, who are you to judge her? You don't know her. And you're absolutely right. And my intention was never to judge Teal Swan. My intention was to watch a fun documentary because I'm a nerd and I love that shit. And to learn and to nerd out at night while my baby's sleeping and I have a little bit of time to myself. I did not expect to feel submerged in this and to feel like I was meant to speak on what I was seeing. And that was the reason why I started filming. I grabbed my phone and I was like, you guys, is anybody else reacting this way? There were red flags in the beginning.
Ruh-roh.
Just based on my intuition. And I have to admit, when I've seen her content in the past, there has been something that rubbed me the wrong way. And of course, there's the part of me that thinks, well, I'm just being judgmental.
You bitch.
Who am I to judge somebody just based on how they look, react, or, anything? That's not what I'm about. But there is that part of yourself that you need to listen to, that innate sense of safety that we all have. And there was something about my energy that did not feel safe with hers. I guess that's the best way I can put it, in a very woo-woo way, but that's kind of my jam. Yeah! I tried to watch every episode with as much focus and intention, and I realized that the first 3 videos, people reacted negatively because I laughed at a few things. And I want to say the reason why I laugh is because that is a self-soothing, a self-regulating mechanism I learned from a very young age. It's not a healthy one. It's not ideal. But when I've been uncomfortable, and as a child of trauma, I would laugh. And sometimes I am genuinely laughing because I'm a joyful person. I can understand I can understand why people thought I was being disrespectful or overly judgmental. I didn't want to do that, and I don't want to do that. The goal of this, which I realized about halfway through episode 2, was to shine a light on spiritual practitioners and their own healing where it's necessary. I think that Teal, as I said, is a victim of the mental health industry. I learned while she was in Utah, early 20s, I believe, she worked with Barbara Snow, a renowned therapist who unfortunately did a lot of memory tampering with people and implanted memories of ritualistic abuse. And I believe that Teal is a victim of this. I'm not saying that what she believes didn't happen, but it's also irrelevant because once somebody believes something is true, it becomes true to them. And one of my biggest issues with the practices is the memory recollection exercises that we saw in episode 3. It's stuck with me because I've known people who have been victims to the mental health industry and how they inadvertently and sometimes intentionally implant memories. And I understand that Teal believes she's coming from a very spiritual place, but having somebody inhabit the consciousness of someone's parent and having somebody else inhabit the consciousness of the other parent and the child, I believe in channeling. I believe that we can get messages from spirit that are genuine. I believe in all of that. I do not believe that what she is doing is ethical because as spiritual practitioners, the information that we put out into the world, there has to be some ethics. Part of my ethics is to do good, is with good intentions. And I know she has good intentions. I know she thinks she's helping people. But the moment we think that we have the answers to anyone else's suffering, that we are their savior, we have to take a moment. We have to realize that the only savior that exists for any of us is within ourselves. I am my own hero. I am my own superhero. That's why I coined my name as Super Earth Mama. My real name is Ashley. But it's kind of like my Sasha Fierce, you know? And when I'm feeling insecure, when I'm neglecting myself, or when I'm not practicing my healing techniques that I teach other people, that's when I remind myself that I need to check myself before I wreck myself. And I worked for celebrities. One of the things that I noticed after working for celebrities for several years is they surround themselves with yes people, with people who would just agree with them because their life is easier that way. Most celebrities and most people in the limelight are seriously insecure. They need the yeses in order to finally feel confident because they can't do it for themselves. There's nothing wrong with Teal Swan. Let me get that very clear. And there's nothing broken about Teal Swan. There's nothing broken about any of us. Every single one of us can heal. And sometimes the only thing that we need to do is to remind ourselves that we have the power to heal ourselves. Seeing the impact that she has on some of these people really upset me. The impact that she has with the memories in particular, because when you implant a memory in someone, or even just the idea that they were so traumatized they can't remember what happened, that can fracture a soul. That can upset the balance in someone's psyche to the point where, yeah, they're super depressed now. Now they're broken down and they don't know what happened to them. So they're vulnerable to whatever suggestion you give them. That's why these people are believing everything that she says, that her practitioners say in those sessions. I also understand that the mental health profession is saying that should we be regulating spiritual work? Should we be doing this? These people shouldn't be allowed to just treat whoever they want. I don't agree with that. I think that's dangerous because we have a highly regulated mental health care system, and that's seriously fractured. The people that are doing a lot of the healing, this is not true of all therapists, but I've known a lot of therapists, and they need more healing than their clients in many cases. With everyone around her saying yes, or around anybody, you know, the moment we surround ourselves in an echo chamber, we lose authenticity. We lose the ability to see ourselves clearly because we rely on the mirrors around us. There are times when you might not be aware of your effect on the world. There is one scene in particular in the final episode where Teal is confronting Juliana, and this one really disturbed me because she has everyone tell Juliana essentially what is wrong with her or what they think she feels about Teal.
Do you know what would be interesting to me, actually? Is based off of the interaction that you and I have had. What you think your attitude towards me is, and what every other person here thinks your attitude towards me is.
What I think of you is that you're like really clear in what you want and where you want to go in your life, and that you have like a very clear commitment to your mission. But in general, like, you're a very powerful person.
All right, let's go to somebody else then. Because that was a very toned down, very sweet, very sugar-coated answer.
I do feel that you really wanted to be part of this. I think the mission is fascinating for you. You say she's powerful, but I feel you see a negative power in her.
I think you think that she doesn't care about people. I think you think she's hungry for power. I think you think she's manipulative.
I think you hate Teal on one level. I think you're envious of her.
The reason I have a problem with that, and I'm sure many of you did, is there's nothing therapeutic about that. There's nothing that is going to progress a relationship forward. Teal's not sitting there saying, okay, I want you guys to tell me how you feel she feels about me and how you think I feel about her. At least then there would be some sort of cyclical balance of energy. Instead, it's everyone's down on Juliana. And I understand that people are saying, oh, well, that was spliced to look like that. No, that's what happened. And you can see it on everyone's face in the room, because even though they say what they say about Juliana, you can see that they're uncomfortable. And it's almost as if they've disassociated themselves from the moment and they're just saying what they know Teal wants to hear. That's just my interpretation. I'm very curious to hear what everybody else thought. But the disturbing part to it was Teal was writing as she was hearing Juliana speak.
You think I support and add to painful suffering in the world. You think that I'm an attention whore. You think I'm a narcissist. You think I control others, even the way they see things. You think I'm too masculine, too harsh, not very nice, don't care about people, manipulate Blake. I'm tyrannical, have the wrong values, use people. I hurt myself and others. I'm power hungry and responsible for the power struggles between you and me. I want everyone for myself. I surround myself with enablers. That I'm very powerful, that I'm very talented, that I have a very meaningful mission. How conflicting.
There was a moment where it just felt like she was in a moment of fear and pain and emotion. And instead of saying, I feel that you don't see me clearly, and that concerns me, and I want to know what I can do to help this relationship be cohesive. But see, that's not what Teal is interested in. She does not like that Juliana has not kissed the hem of her garment. Garment? She has not kissed her ass like everybody else does. That was an example of an uncomfortable laugh, because it is uncomfortable. It's upsetting to see somebody spiral down a serious staircase of control, and it's almost unsettling to watch, because this person is not just a person in the world doing her own thing, going to her job and not affecting people with her knowledge of healing. The unsettling thing is this person is going out and trying to heal people when she needs to heal herself. And that's the issue I have first and foremost with anybody doing spiritual work, helping other people. I know that the work that I want to do, the purpose I have in this life, is somewhat similar to Teal Swan. I want to heal people. But I also know that I am a student and a teacher. And the student side of me has to be awake 24/7. I have to be open to the fact that I can learn new things about myself. I can learn that, oh, that's where I need healing. Oh, that's what I need to focus on. Oh, I need to take better care of myself. And it's no one else's responsibility to make me happy. That is the most freeing thing I ever figured out. And I figured it out myself going through postpartum depression. I'm not saying I own that idea. I can teach other people that, but it doesn't belong to me. That's the problem I also have with Teal Swan, is that she tries to own these ideas when we all have them inherently. I believe we're born with psychic abilities, spiritual knowledge, all the knowledge that we need in order to be successful. And by success, I mean happy in life. We are born with, but we forget it through conditioning, through societal pressure, through trauma, through abuse, through so many things where our souls become fractured over time. It does not mean that our souls cannot be healed. It does not mean that we are ever broken and unfixable. You know, seeing Teal talk to Blake the way she did in the last episode, I was not surprised.
If you want to flip the favor around, like you guys have been doing to me, the level of fucking judgment you have on me being a narcissistic bitch, you're a fucking absolute loser. Always will be.
It seems to me that he has been filling her cup for years and years and years. And although he remained loyal, needed somebody to love him back because he felt empty. And a lot of people who live in that house, the fact that she's telling them, making them sign a document that they won't ever have children, why would you ever want to take that away from someone? She said she didn't want to be woken up at 4 a.m. I can't be woken up by a screaming baby at 3 a.m. First of all, most babies don't scream at 3 a.m. They cry for a minute until somebody comes to them, because babies are learning how to exist in this world, much like adults. Much like, you know, if Teal Swan would think for a second that maybe the fact that she had a child and got to experience that other people deserve the right to experience that. And what an amazing community it would be if they could be there for each other. But I wouldn't want a child in a community where they're implanting memories and they're always depressed. They're always depressed. They're implanting these horrific things. And then these people are broken down and Teal builds them back up. And then they are tethered to her. They need their sense of self to come from her. She becomes their identity. This is something that Teal Swan was quoted saying about the woman that she worked with. When she was coming to me with her husband, I was doing what I normally do as people. Let's have an awakening. I'm going to give you some strategies. What I noticed very quickly is she wasn't applying them. It was a typical dynamic. Actually, you see, with people with personality disorders, where what they actually need is genuine presence. They need somebody to be there for them like mommy wasn't there for them. But that's like a 24-hour-a-day thing. It's not something that a psychiatrist can provide. It's not something that a psychologist can provide. It's not something that a spiritual teacher can provide. And in most cases, it's not something that a primary partner can provide. And the reason that she wasn't actually taking steps to change it is because she wanted somebody to be there with her in her pain so desperately, badly. Okay. Nobody has to be stuck in their pain. And as spiritual healers, it is not our job to take them into the deep end of their pain. It is our job to show them that there is a shallow end, that there is an ocean of possibility, that we're in a pool right now. We can get the up out of the pool and we can go walk in the real world. And you can bring your spiritual beliefs with you, but bring some joy to these people. If you take them down into the pit of despair, of course they're going to be more depressed, especially when you're engaging in manifestation thoughts about with them. That's just going to make it more real for them. So anybody that is depressed and anxious and feels like Teal is helping them, that's great. But is she connecting you to joy? Are you finding joy in your life? If you are, let me know down below. I want to hear those stories. But I have not seen that in any of her work. I've seen a ton of her content. I haven't seen anything about being happy, about just saying what happened in the past happened in the past. The problem with reliving the past over and over again is, scientifically speaking, your brain does not know the difference between memory and the present and the future, which is why you can use your thoughts to manifest your future almost any way possible within, real world limitations. Fixating on the past, what happened to me as a child, If I were to fixate on that all the time and keep diving into it, I might discover that I remember more things happening, and then I might get more and more depressed. But that little girl would not want me to be stuck back there. She would want to hug me, and she would want to say, bitch, you have a family, you have a husband, you have a career, you have people you need to heal. You need to get the f up out of this memory because it's not serving you. And I'm not saying remembering what happened and making it your purpose to help other people through their memories isn't important. What I'm saying is sticking in that memory and just going over it, over and over it. Those kind of therapies don't work, in my opinion. Those kind of therapies make people more depressed. And unfortunately, Teal has people in this hamster wheel of pain. If you're in that wheel right now, get the f off of it. It's in your mind. Live in the present moment and start thinking about how you want to make your life better. Start thinking about the things that you want to create for yourself. Do not think about limitations. When it comes to your happiness, there are no limitations. Imagine what you would look like if you were the happiest you've ever been. What would your house look like? What would your family be like? What would your career be like? And then make it happen. I was homeless a couple years ago. And then I moved in with my mother when she was dying, and I took care of her. And 2 weeks before I found out I was pregnant, I told my husband while I was taking care of my mother that I felt I was finally ready for a baby. And he and I had been talking about having kids and what that would be like and imagining how we would parent them, especially during the whole COVID thing. And we were in California, and the way they handled it, we had opinions about that and how people were handling it with their kids. We had opinions, and I just started manifesting the kind of mother I would want to be. And 2 days after my mother died, I found out I was pregnant. A psychic friend of mine said that we defied death. I held on to the idea of my future and my life and the fact that the work that I was doing for my mother, yes, it was the hardest thing, but it was a gift to be able to be there for her. It was hard. I'm not diminishing anybody's struggle. Struggle is real, but you don't have to keep your mind in that struggle 24/7. If you want to be free of it, think outside of your struggle. Remember something that brings you joy. There's a simple cup of tea that would do it for me at times. Just taking a walk outside for a few minutes. When we consciously use our breath in through the nose and out through the nose. If you're anxious, if you're depressed, breathe in through the nose for 4 seconds. And breathe out through the nose for 8 seconds. And it calms the nervous system. If you can learn to calm your nervous system, you can learn to relax. You can learn to live in the present. And that is what my work is about and what a lot of spiritual teachers' work is about. This question in a lot of the podcasts that I've listened to and a lot of the interviews that I've seen where it's black or white. It's either you go spiritual or you go mental health industry. And there can be a balance. Demonizing spiritual teachers and even demonizing Teal Swan is not the answer. Taking what you like from each of these teachers and leaving the rest is great. I do that with religion. I do that every day with my life. I don't have to fully absorb everything. And I think that's the problem. When people become a follower, they lose a sense of their self. So take your information where you want to. I do not think that we should regulate spiritual teachers, not just because I'm one myself, but because government would not understand what we do. And it's woo-woo. You know, I'm sitting here, I'm a psychic, I'm an empath, I'm a spiritual teacher, and I understand that to some people, when I talk about astrology and when I talk about breathwork and when I talk about food and making your food with intention, like that's magic, it freaks people out. But that's okay. Those aren't supposed to be the people that I connect to. The people I connect to with this video are the ones that I was meant to. I don't need 1 million followers. I don't need tons of money. What I need is to continue to heal myself so that I can heal others. That's all I care about. And I wish Teal Swan healing energy and love. And I hope that she watched the documentary and was able to reflect on her behavior and her actions. And we don't have to demonize her. Everyone is capable of change. And I hope that she can look at herself in the mirror and really see herself plainly and realize that the people around her can be their authentic self again, and she can handle it. She can handle them saying, we don't agree. I don't think so. Nobody needs everybody around them to validate their thoughts, their opinions, their experiences, their emotions, their trauma, anything. We need to validate ourselves. Let's get out of the fucking pool, man. And I hope you guys will come with me on this spiritual journey. I'm going to keep sharing my knowledge with you, my opinions. The next videos are going to be a lot more lighthearted because I am now closing the saga on Teal Swan. And I wish her love and light, and I wish all the best to her followers. And if I triggered anyone, if I upset anyone on this journey, I understand. And I hope you'll communicate with me respectfully, because I would love to communicate with you respectfully. We did it, guys! We did it! Wishing you all the best. See you next time.